Government leaders know that they need to convince the public the vaccine is safe. A new Quinnipiac poll shows that right now about 61% of Americans say they're willing to roll up their sleeves. About 33% are not. WBZ's John Keller joins us now. And John, it all comes down to who the public trusts.
Yeah, it sure does, Anna Rittis. And, there's a new statewide poll conducted by Mass Inc. for the Museum of Science that shows the numbers about 71% here in our state who are people who are ready to get the shot. That's still at the low end of that range you heard Dr. Ellison describing that'll get us toward that coveted herd immunity. So there's no question about it. There's some work to do building public trust.
People should get their information from trusted sources like mass.gov or your healthcare provider.
But what sources of vaccine guidance do Massachusetts residents really trust? Topping the list in a new statewide poll, your personal doctor, completely or mostly trusted by 80% of us. Federal and state healthcare agencies and institutions also score well.
How that is going to be rolled out.
And Dr. Anthony Fauci is completely or mostly trusted by more than 6 in 10. But the politicians are a different story. More than a quarter of us told the pollsters they didn't trust local elected leaders' vaccine guidance. Nearly 4 in 10 expressed mistrust of local religious leaders. And 62% said they don't trust the president on this at all.
Good afternoon.
President-elect Biden fares better, with 48% saying they completely or mostly trust him. And Governor Baker is also trusted by half of us.
The vaccine will be distributed in phases,
with another 25% saying they trust him a little. But the numbers send a clear signal. Former presidents volunteering to get an early shot to build public confidence is a nice gesture. But the push toward the 70+% inoculation needed to stop the spread needs to be led by doctors and other public health professionals, with the Pauls and pastors cheering them on.
Now, John, we know in communities of color the numbers are even lower. There's a lot of misinformation about the virus and the vaccine also on the internet. So how big of a barrier will that be to building that public trust?
Well, that's been a big worry, Anna Rittis. And one finding of the Mass Inc. Museum of Science poll that really kind of pleasantly surprised me is they found 37% of the respondents had complete or most or a fair amount of trust in what they hear from their friends, family, and neighbors about the virus. Well, I expected that number to be a lot higher. So to the extent that people are starting to get wise to the fact that social media, the stuff that your aunt's friend posts on your Facebook page is really more often than not a sewer of misinformation, I think the better in terms of coming to grips with the truth about the vaccines and our way out of this nightmare.
Certainly so. We're going to need all the time we can get before it's widely available. John Keller, thank you so much.